Hey Garth.
Hey, Jason, great to see you, as always.
It's good to see you too, buddy. We are just off of, the winter fury. Santa visited my
Yeah.
house and he actually delivered a PS5 to my boys,
Okay. All
right?
right.
I have a question for you though, Garth. Do you have a
Yeah.
favorite video game? Were you a video game kid or what's your favorite video game if you have one?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm not really a video game kid, but I do remember, and I don't know what my family was going through at the time, but I do remember one Christmas where we were on break from school and my parents rented us like an Xbox or a PlayStation like so early on with like the whole cartridge you had to
Oh
put
yeah.
in, and
Oh yeah.
my brother and I played like I think it was like honestly NHL 94 or something
Yeah,
like
I
that. It
know
was
the game.
ridiculous. And we would go back and forth and back and forth. But then a buddy of mine and I used to play because I went to a boarding school, right?
Yeah.
So a buddy of mine and I, Sean Dempsey, he and I used to play California games
Oh yeah,
on
yeah,
his
yeah. I gotcha.
computer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I know the
yeah,
one too.
that was pretty good. And then my dad bought us one of the first consoles ever, video game consoles called Vectrex. It's like it was like literally just like white lines on a black background. Jason, I need to rethink my answer. Maybe I am a video game kid.
Seems like you are, Garth, and I think your parents were probably going through something, so I don't know what that was all about, but
Just like get them out of our hair.
oh, totally, totally. Well, on
What
today's
about you?
episode,
You got a favorite? You got a favorite game?
yeah, I like I'm the same. We played the same era of NHL. I love that, and
Yeah.
played everything from Legends of Zelda to you
Oh
name it.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think about it, and I do think I learned a skill or two from playing video games, like whether it was like socializing or teamwork or collaboration. And
Yeah.
on today's podcast, we have the founder of an app and also an in-school implementation called Fledge, which
Yeah.
helps gamify learning around mental health for preschool students all the way to grade 6. I'm pretty excited for people to listen to this one.
Known as the Minecraft for mental health, and Jenna is an amazing guest for us. Yeah, we're really happy to have her on.
Yeah, so Jenna Galloway, she shares us tips and tricks around mental health, but she talks about Fledge as well. She talks about her own journey, and she talks about
Hmm.
leadership in the age of a startup, which I thought was
Yep.
really compelling.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoy the episode, listeners, and give us some feedback as always. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
With Garth and Jason, we dive right in, breaking down Ted's world. Let's begin from AFC Richmond's field to your day to day. Lassoing leadership's here to stay. Keep leading the lasso way. Together we'll grow stronger every day. So plug in your headphones and let's start the show. With lessons from Ted, we'll learn and grow.
Welcome back to Lassoing Leadership. I am your host, Garth Nichols.
And I'm Jason Rogers, and today we're diving into an issue that's shaping the future of leadership, education, and community building, the student well-being and mental health.
That's right, Jason. Yeah, we spent a lot of time on this podcast already talking about the importance of building trust, fostering resilience, leading with empathy, all those things. But the core of all of this is a commitment to well-being for our leaders, for our educators, and of course, for our students, and the young people that we serve.
Absolutely, Garth. I can't think of anything more important. I think that's why we spend so much time in this podcast discussing it. The mental health challenges facing students today are truly unprecedented. Increasing academic pressure, social dynamics, and global uncertainty have created a landscape where well-being isn't just a nice to have. It's essential for our students to thrive.
Yeah. And you and I know this, like we're seeing it firsthand, how crucial it is to create environments where mental health and emotional regulation are actively supported. I know Havergal is doing such an incredible job. Shout out to our junior school teachers who are using the work of Mark Brackett and stuff like that. I just think it's so important to understand that well-being, like, it is the learning, right? You can't learn unless you are mentally ready and emotionally ready to learn. And so having just that foundation, these core skills and strategies to go to is so important. It's foundational to everything else.
Yeah, Garth, we can agree on this one. I mean, social emotional learning is everywhere. Even if it's not stated in the written curriculum, I think it's the first curriculum that we have to have for success to thrive today and into the future. And the good news is that there are some incredible people out there doing some incredible work in this space. One example is the rise of innovative tools and programs designed to teach mental health skills in ways that resonate with our youngest learners.
And that brings us to today's guest. We're excited to welcome
Yeah.
Jenna Galloway to the podcast. Jenna is the founder of Fledge. And it's a beautiful sort of weaving of technology and face-to-face and skills and self-practices. It's an online learning platform, teaches essential mental health and wellness skills to children from preschool to grade 6.
Yeah, it's been described to me as Minecraft for mental health. Now, I've got little kids.
Nice.
I've got a 7 and 9-year-old. And so I can't wait to hear just a little bit more about how Fledge uses a gamified approach to help kids with emotional regulation, manages their stress and anxiety, and enhance social interactions, all the while earning rewards and creating a virtual world.
Yeah. I mean, I was playing around on the website, the platform, like, looks super cool. And it's research backed, and it's already making huge impact. Like, Jason, Jenna, right? She's at Rundle already. So we're just excited to hear more about how we can integrate mental health education into the daily lives of students, teachers, and families.
Jenna, we are more than thrilled. You can probably hear it in our voices to have you here. Welcome to Lassoing Leadership. Why don't you jump in now and tell us a little bit more about who you are and the work that you are doing or you've done in the past?
Yeah, thank you so much, Garth and Jason, for having me on the podcast. As you mentioned, we're already at Rundle testing and providing some of our programs, and it's been incredible to have the support of the school. We're learning a lot as we go, and it's really critical to us as we're building these tools to work in collaboration with schools and organizations that are sometimes already using existing curriculums or approaches to mental health and well-being. Fledge really is designed to enhance that and to act as a co-pilot to any educator, any wellness coordinator or individual who's working with students to make learning about these integral foundational skills really fun, engaging, and meaningful to them.
Nice. Where did the title, like, where did your company name come from? What does Fledge mean? What inspired you to create the platform? Like, what's your mission? But why the word Fledge?
Yeah, so Fledge, it's kind of cute. It comes from the word fledglings. And so because we work with younger children and in preventative education, we like to think of the children and the students using our platform as little fledglings. So they're in their nest with their parents, with their teachers, anyone who's supporting them and providing them with the life skills and preparation to go out into the world and become an amazing individual. And so Fledge is kind of, again, that co-pilot to helping adults support children in their learning.
And so tell us where this came from for you. Like, what inspired Fledge? What's your mission?
Yeah, absolutely. So our big picture goal is to reach 1 million children with mental health and well-being programming by 2027. And we're already well on our way towards that goal. We started about a year and a half ago and started working with schools just this past February in 2024. And already we've seen significant uptake and traction, which is amazing. We're really noticing an awareness growing in the space of supporting not only social emotional learning, but mental health and well-being competency within students. So just going that extra step and providing holistic tools and connection strategies like our in-person programs or professional development trainings. And so when we think about the goal or the big picture, we really want to see Fledge accessible to as many children and students as possible so that we can empower educators, wellness coordinators, parents to provide quality instruction and support to children.
That's amazing. Like, that's an awesome story. It's an awesome mission. Gets you up out of bed every day. Like, it's incredible. Congratulations. But one of the things that stands out for me is the research that goes into it. I think I read something like 38% improvement in mental health amongst your participants. Like, looking like really strong impact. How do you integrate research into the design? Like, who are you working with? And what
Mhm.
role, maybe as a startup, what role does your advisory board play in ensuring your success?
Absolutely. I might take one step back and go a little bit into the why behind
Yeah,
Fledge. In
perfect.
addition to wanting to positively impact so many lives, it really comes from a personal experience with mental health challenges. So after high school, I went into health sciences. I wanted to become a pediatrician. I've always wanted to work with children and help their
Mm,
development. But being in that high pressure environment, it just became clear that everything I'd been holding together and everything looked great on the surface. Had great grades, I was in extracurriculars, was doing very well. But in that high pressure environment, it really imploded and came to light that there were some things that I was struggling with, including anxiety and depression. And so I had to actually drop out of school because it became so severe. And it dramatically impacted not only my life, but my parents, my sister,
yeah,
my friends. And so going through this experience and then finding the tools and resources that really could support shifting my perspective and my ability to cope with challenge and navigate different scenarios in life, it was really integral and game changing. And that's when I kind of realized I think we really need to teach these skills at an early age because things could look a lot different.
yeah,
And then the second piece to that is that a lot of the time, the adults who are working with children or parents, they're looking for additional research-backed quality resources that they can trust. There's so much information out on the internet and on social media about what you should be doing, how you should be managing things. So it's critical that we've brought together all of this research-backed material into one platform that can really ensure and give parents and educators peace of mind that the activities are going to be helpful. So we've worked on a longitudinal study with the University of Calgary, which we concluded at the end of last year, and we'll actually be presenting our research at the Mental Health Summit coming up in Banff this year.
Oh, Jenna, thanks for sharing your story. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no
Yeah, I
worries.
think, Garth, we've talked an awful lot about vulnerability over our time as being an important part of this inspired leadership. And Jenna, you really demonstrate that for our listeners. And so we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Jenna, I've got, as I've said to our listeners before, I have, two boys, one's 7, the other's 9 years old. And this is obviously very front of mind for me, for my own parenting and for my kids. I'm
Mhm.
just wondering if we think about Fledge and the work that you're doing as a, got a big secret ingredient to it.
Mhm.
What are the 3 things that come to mind first that are
Mhm.
like core elements of Fledge and your success thus far in the space of mental health and children?
That's a really good question. I think beyond everything, yes, having this technology platform is really incredible because it's a way to engage kids and share learning very easily. But above all else, it's that Fledge is not just a technology company. We don't see our tool as the ultimate solution to mental health. We recognize that human interaction and connection is what's going to provide our kids with the best education and upbringing. Our educators and our parents know our kids best. We're just an additional tool and resource that has some research-backed information that can help you to essentially provide kids with really helpful life skills.
So if I'm a listener and I'm wondering,
Mm-hmm.
how exactly does a parent, educator, and child interact with Fledge?
Mm-hmm.
Take our listeners through that. What is the experience like for everybody who's involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So at the moment, our in-school use of Fledge is that it's used in a group setting.
Yep.
So when we're looking at how Fledge can be used, right now in an academic setting, it's used by an educator in a group setting. So it can either be the whole class or a small cohort. We either do a quick mindfulness minute at the beginning of the day. Maybe it's a nice body break in between. Our modules are roughly 10 to 15 minutes in length, and we have 3 different types. So there's brain, body, and breathe. Body and breathe are more skill-based activities that can be practiced anytime, nice and quickly. Brain is that more in-depth neuroscience and actual learning about what are our emotions, what is our brain doing when we're feeling and experiencing certain things. So it just gives children a bit more context around why they're practicing these tools and skills. And then for a parent at home, you can actually use it one-on-one now with your child. We recommend it to be a guided experience, so for it to be something that you do with your children, because we believe that connection piece is integral. It gives kids an opportunity to ask questions, and it also gives an opportunity for adults to learn as well.
I'm just going to jump in. I'm going to jump in for a second, Jason, because I think it is so important. I think I've told this story on the podcast before, but Jenna, you should know that I really believe in like breathing, right? I really believe that taking deep breaths is a way to be a kinder, more compassionate leader. And it wasn't until it was way too late with my oldest son that I realized I was only ever doing that when he needed it. We never practiced it.
Yeah.
We never rehearsed it. We never, what you just did, we never talked about the why behind it. You know, it was always too late. It was like, okay, let's breathe. Let's do our breathing exercises. So there's there might be, I don't know, talk to him about it. There might be a correlation between like taking deep breaths and just being so pissed off at his dad, you know?
There you go.
So Jenna, like the idea of getting this into hands, and I love that beautiful sort of metaphor of like a fledgling, right? Let's build the toolkit so that when they need it, they know how to do it. So really appreciate that. Sorry, Jason, cut you off there, but go ahead.
No, that's absolutely perfect. And I think if I'm an educator, leader, parent, I'm wondering, you know, Jenna, there's so much talk about overuse of technology, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, whether you're in the anxious generation or a million other texts are talking about kids overusing technology. And yet you found a way to blend technology to help enhance mental health. So help our listeners better understand your decision in that space, and how it can actually work against the flow of negative mental health and instead support it.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple of different perspectives here. And for the record, we are completely in agreement with texts like The Anxious Generation, Jonathan Haidt, and in full support of getting kids outside, experiencing life, interacting with their peers. We use technology as what we call intentional technology time. So we know that tech is a part of our daily lives. Kids see their parents on their iPads and phones, and eventually they're going to be using technology as they get older. And so we view this as a short amount of time you can spend with your child engaging with the platform, or the parent can engage with the platform or the educator, and then they can actually implement those lessons off app. You don't need to engage your child with screen time, but we do have that option of building your virtual world if it's a way to kind of bring kids into these concepts that can sometimes be pretty abstract. And so that's something we're really diving into with our research and our pilot programs with schools, is we're looking to collaborate with educators, wellness coordinators, and schools to better understand how do we provide this information, which is all curriculum-based and research-backed, in a way that really works for your classroom and makes life easier for you. And then I think the second piece is that technology can be such a powerful tool for engaging children. And so we're not advocating for unlimited screen time whatsoever, but there have been studies that show improved uptake of knowledge and retention when children engage in a gamified learning setting. And so that's something we like to explore through the platform, again, to make it relevant and fun for the kids.
Nice.
And I think And I think, Jenna, as I'm thinking through this, I've got like I said, a 9-year-old son who's playing goalie of all things in hockey. And, he's starting to talk about, the stress that comes with that. And I think as parents, my wife and I would love to have those tools to sit back and focus in on the movement and breathing and neuroscience to help him through those challenges, which are becoming present as early as 9 years old. So, bravo. I think that's a huge, huge benefit.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Jason.
Yeah.
I think to add to that also, it doesn't have to be this big thing of mental health and fixing all of these issues. And our kids are going to face so many obstacles and bumps in their life. It's about how do we set them up for success. And so when you're even open to having these conversations or playing a game like Fledge, where you get to learn some of these important activities and lessons, I think it just makes the connection greater and bridges that gap of sometimes an awkward subject to broach with your kids or understand how to share with them.
Yeah, that's amazing. I want to shift a little bit more to talking about you, Jenna.
Sure.
I am right now reading the book called How I Built This, which is stories of entrepreneurs and stuff like that. So let's shift a little bit towards your role as a leader, founding and running Fledge. Like
Sure.
there must have required significance, resilience, perseverance, heartache, mental health stresses. Can you share a time when you faced a major challenge as a leader and maybe what you drew upon and how you worked through it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, well, within a startup, every day is challenging. You're balancing a ton of different things. You're trying to test the market, find new clients, and working with schools it's challenging, as it should be. There's lots of red tape because you work with our youngest populations. And so something that we found really challenging is that outreach process, and just staying resilient in having lots of different conversations with stakeholders so that we can learn about what people are looking for, what they're willing to try. And every no is just not yet, we like to say. So it might not be the perfect time. We might not have the perfect product to offer that school at the time, but we're certainly listening to our community and working very closely with the schools who are using Fledge and who are implementing our in-person programs so that we can continue to build something very valuable.
Yeah.
And Jenna, the whole while I've known you, you've always given back to our communities, given back to our students. You're an extraordinary listener and visionary and leader. And I think anybody who's fortunate enough to work with you is just so lucky to be in your presence. And what you've demonstrated for us on this podcast today is your story of inspiring leadership and Fledge and the work you're doing. But I wonder for our leaders if you could tell us a little bit more about how do you prioritize your own wellness in the face of this adversity? And maybe even more than, the tactics, how do you recognize that you need to support your own wellness? Like you said, it's not about a solution always, it's more about maintenance when it comes to mental health and well-being. So why don't you lead our leaders through that in your journey?
Sure. It kind of reminds me of a conversation we had during when I came into Rundle to provide conversation for the Ascent Leadership Program. And one of the students in the audience actually asked me, well, what do you do when things get stressful? Like, what are some tips and tools? And I think I said, I cry and journal a
That was
little
exactly
bit.
it.
Yeah. And they really resonated with that. I think coming back to that connection piece and really leveraging the great people around you, my biggest learning as a leader in all of this is asking for help is the bravest thing you can do. You can't know everything right off the bat, and you're going to save a lot of time if you just reach out and ask someone to help you get through it. That being said, I definitely have my own meditation practice, and I do practice reflection each morning. So I have a specific set of questions I go through to set up my day. And then at the end of the day, I actually learned this from one of our advisory board members, Tom Hodson, he's the former CEO of Smart Technologies. It's called Done Well, Do Better. And so you write down all the things that you did well that day, and then you jot down the things that you could do better, and then you close it and you put it away and you're done for the day and you just move on to something else or relaxing. And I've actually found that to be a really helpful process.
Yeah. I've talked about this a lot. It's a deep practice of stoicism as well. But there's this great idea that you have to be able to put things down on paper in order to really deal with them and then move on from them. So I love that. That's great. Tell me a little bit about what gets you up in the morning with Fledge. Is it working with students? Is it working with schools? Is it you're on a mission? Jason and I have talked in the past about this concept of a purpose mindset, and it just seems like you have such a clear purpose mindset. Can you tell us a little bit about what gets you up in the morning?
Thank you. That's a huge compliment. I really appreciate that. I think what gets me up in the morning is always remembering, and this is a little bit, I guess, somber, but just really remembering that dark period of time when I was struggling with my mental health and how I felt there wasn't a light at the end of the tunnel. I didn't have anything to keep me going. And so my mission this entire time, and I've built 2 companies now, so throughout both of my companies has always been, if I can just positively impact one child's life, or the trajectory of one child's life, my mission would be complete. So yeah, that's kind of what gets me up in the morning.
That's a beautiful thing, Jenna. Beautiful.
So
thing.
Jenna, I have a feeling you're impacting a lot more than just one child's lives already, and I look forward to seeing the future of Fledge. I mean, can you, in your perfect world, Jenna, just paint us the picture of Fledge 5 years from now? What would it look like? What would you be doing? What kind of change would you be making in the world?
Absolutely. In 5 years, I would love to see 1 million children having access to mental health and well-being resources through our platform. That includes having their educators and parents equipped with these tools as well. So we're aiming to expand across North America. We've been primarily focused in Calgary for our main outreach in 2024. We're looking to expand our paid pilot programs with schools. Additionally, we are just about to launch our preschool module, which actually has a different interface. And so we're looking to work with early learning centers, preschools, kindergartens, to begin implementing the tool with them so that they're able to share skills at school and then skills at home with parents. So yeah, we are aiming to establish ourselves as the leading mental health and well-being provider through these technologies and in-person services across North America.
Want to keep going, Jason?
You go ahead, Garth. You can hit where to find Jenna.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Jenna, as we wrap up, I want to just make sure our listeners know, where can they find you and your work?
Absolutely. So our website is fledge.health. It's a really weird domain. I'm so sorry, but that's where you can find us. If you're interested in our pilot programs or trying Fledge, we do have a special pre-sale going on our website at the moment. So if you're a teacher, a parent, a wellness coordinator, you can actually sign up for Fledge for a really reduced rate as one of our early adopters. And we'll work closely with you to help shape and curate the tools and the features that you're looking for to support you.
Amazing. Jenna, thank you so much for sharing your story, for sharing Fledge, and for making this accessible to our listeners too. I think it's incredible. And the work that you're doing, it just resonates with all of the leadership qualities we've been exploring in season 2, right? There's a huge amount of bravery here too. So we really, really appreciate it. And it's inspiring to see how mental health can be a cornerstone of leadership and education.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed my time.
And to our listeners, don't forget to send us your questions or share your thoughts on today's episode. Or if you're looking to reach out to Jen and you're not able to find her online for some reason, by all means, reach out to either of Garth or I. Any way you like, lassoingleadership@gmail.com, LinkedIn, Spotify, or Instagram. We are here for your comments, questions, and insights.
Yeah, and that's a wrap for this episode. Don't forget to check out fledge.health, and we'll link to their website and resources in the show notes.
All right, Jenna, we have a bit of a tradition. I think you know about it. Where our guests share a tagline. So, Jenna, if you don't mind, why don't you bring us on home?
You got it. Until next time, keep leading the Lasso way.
Thanks, Jenna. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Jenna. Thanks.
Step up to the mic. It's time to play. Lassoing leadership every day. From the pitch to the boardroom, lessons call to mind. Keep leading the lasso way. You'll find we've got heart, we've got soul, and humor too. Exploring how TED shows what leaders should do. With Garth and Jason, we dive right in, breaking down TED's world. Let's begin from AFC, Richmond's field to your day-to-day. Lassoing leadership's here to stay. Keep leading the lasso way. Together we'll grow stronger every day. So plug in your headphones and let's start the show. With lessons from TED, we'll